How's it going, everybody? C-RadTV back here in our video, and welcome to another Detroit Lions 2024 NFL Draft Preview. So in the last draft preview, we took a look at the top day 3 linebacker prospects, rounds 4 through 7 of the 2024 NFL Draft. And in this one, we're going to wrap up the defensive back and safety prospects and take a look at the top corners and safeties in day 3 for rounds 4 through 7 of the 2024 NFL Draft. And wrap that class up, that very deep class. So yeah, we're going to take a look at those prospects and see which names to keep an eye on for day 3 of the 2024 NFL Draft. So yeah, anyway, let's go. Starting off with corners, the first one we're going to go over here, hailing out of Washington State, standing 5'10", weight 187 pounds. We got Charles Smith-Wade. So for Cho's strengths, easy moving athlete, fluid back pedal and turn, able to recover quickly from missteps, gathers balance from odd angles, reads the QB effectively, triggers quickly to the ball. Skill set will translate easily to both zone and man coverage duties. Adequate closing speed from the sideline, willingness to throw himself into ball carriers. He uses the sideline, positions himself effectively to take away space from receivers. He can carry most receivers vertically, able to cover up the deep ball, is impressive for his size, takes good angles to the ball, won't get lost in traffic. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's a small, thin corner, will be viewed exclusively as a nickel by many teams. Opens up early on occasion, will have to be more disciplined with his footwork as a pro. Frame and strength limitations shows up when he has to bring down a ball carrier. Ball production's underwhelming, likely won't get much better, and had trouble getting a hand in at the catch point. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Terrell Clark of the Arizona Cardinals. Overall, a lot to like out of Chow's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to take a look at here, hailing out of Auburn, standing 5'11", weighing 170 pounds. We got DJ James. So in terms of DJ's strengths, he finds his way to the ball consistently. Broke up 12 passes in 2023 as a fifth-year senior. Had 3 interceptions in 2 seasons at Auburn, 2 as a junior at Oregon in 2021. Good patience in zone, athletic and fluid. Natural with the ball in his hands. Displays understanding of offensive approach. Adapts in real time. Better making plays with a runway, but tracks the ball over his head. Short area speed, can make up ground with a misstep. In terms of weaknesses, though, scales and measuring tape don't tell the entire story with any prospect. No question, he was downgraded in some draft rooms with the official Senior Bowl measurements. That discredit is listed height of 6'1", around there, and his arm length and wingspan were in the bottom of the group, and borderline passable for an outside corner. Inconsistent long speed, overmatched in jump ball situations against big receivers, sitting duck in the secondary against pulling and trapping linemen. Sticks to blocks, not a sure thing in the open field as a tackler. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to free agent corner Josh Norman. Overall, a lot to like out of DJ's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to look at here, hailing out of Michigan, standing 5'10", weighing 180 pounds. We got Mike Sanders. So for Mike's strengths, capable outside or inside slot corner, placement, no holds barred tenacity. Junkyard dog as a tackler, closes on receivers with a bite, unafraid of pointing his nose in the pile. Doesn't fall off of big backs and pops ball carriers with his pats. Off the charts instincts, leadership traits. Versatility includes starting at wide receiver in the Big Ten as recently as 2021. Invites scouts a vision to Taysom Hill type role, dual role for him. He can time blitzes, arrives with urgency, disguises coverage intent, well given, limited use at the position. Terms of weaknesses, though, not yet the sum of his parts, especially when evaluated as strictly a press man corner. There's an ongoing evolution of a switch to corner that requires patience, some subjective projection. His skill warrants draft attention, but his greatest value might be in his versatility and playmaking traits, leaving up to his employer to figure out the rest. Eager tackler, willing kamikaze against the run. His stamina for those roles might take a little hit against NFL blockers and skill players. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Antoine Winfield of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Overall, a lot to like at him. Like, has that dog in him, a lot of great leadership skills. I think this is someone definitely to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to take a look at here, hailing out of Wake Forest, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 194 pounds. We got Kalen Carson. So for Kalen's strengths, he looks the part, long, lean frame, glides with easy moving in a straight line and changing direction. Explosive, twitchy initial movements, rarely defeated on quick-hitting slant or inside route. Smooth hips, can shift from first gear to fourth on the fly. Jolts receivers at the snap, doesn't give a free release. Edgy competitor with a refuse-to-moose mentality. Football instincts and reactive closing speed to be utilized as zone. Not as first in this coverage. In terms of his weaknesses, though, appears less comfortable when not attached to a receiver in press coverage, and scheme versatility is a question mark. He allowed too many explosive plays at Wake Forest, shows the short memory and next play focus position coaches desire. Deep speed is the top of class, diagnostic skills, football IQ help mask it. Tenacity to rise in the stance, anticipating verticals. Aggressiveness is a constant, whereas awareness becomes vital in zone. Bend, don't break coverage designed to limit damage and make play hits. Terms NFL comparison, he's been compared to Tre'Davious White of the Buffalo Bills. Overall, a lot to like out of Kalen's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to take a look at here, hailing out of Notre Dame, setting 6'2", weighing 202 pounds. We got Cam Hart. So for Cam's strengths, cast a large shot on man coverage, fluid lower body, decides to turn freak in the athleticism to the side speed realm. With an insane 78-inch wingspan, 38-inch vertical, chin time top speed of 21.7 miles an hour. Outlier size could help push him up draft boards for teams seeking to cover corner in that mold. His arrow pointing up after his Senior Bowl, where he dominated receivers without quick area separation agility. Ran routes to stay on top of intended targets. Terms weaknesses, though, tapered frame to the thinner lower half. Has a high center of gravity in zone coverage. Complicated recovery from missteps or poor angles. Not sudden gearing down to change direction. Side saddles and man coverage keep eyes locked in backfield. Doesn't track it well over his shoulder. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to former Miami Dolphin Byron Jones. Overall, a lot to like out of Cam's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to look at here, hailing out of Arkansas, standing 6'2", weighing 185 pounds, we got Dwight McGothern. So for Dwight's strengths, instinctive enough, can adapt to his own scheme, has star potential in man coverage, relies on leverage, physical coordination to play the ball, consistent with his energy and effort, height and reactive speed can get him to the ball consistently, capable blitzer from the slot, can turn and run with a smooth transition, but not going to win a 100-yard dash with Tyreek Hill, sadly. In terms of weaknesses, though, might be limited to man coverage, too much cushion when he plays off man, doesn't allow always explode to the ball in zone, lunges and misses tackles, generally a willing participant in run support, shorter arms, and can whiff attempting to jam and route. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Paulson Adebo of the New Orleans Saints. Overall, a lot to like out of Dwight's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. And the final corner we're going to take a look at here before we move on to safeties. We have hailing out of Florida State, steady 5'11", weighing 190 pounds. We got Renardo Green. So for Renardo's strengths, press coverage, ace, demeanor to dominate the slot corner. Short memory, high energy corner vision, instincts can move to free safety if the need arises. Versatile with reps in multiple positions, communicator who worked to learn in multiple spots. Multiple 50 tackle seasons at Florida State, eager in run support, doesn't shy away from contact. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's played bigger than his size, but he'll be overmatched by the tallest and strongest receivers he faces in the NFL. Might not be a candidate to consistently play outside in the NFL. He got his hands on a lot of passes, but only secured one career interception in college. In terms of NFL comparison, he's been compared to Kobe Durant on the Los Angeles Rams. Overall, a lot to like out of his game. Very consistent, very productive outside of interceptions. So, someone I think to keep an eye on for sure. Now moving on to safeties. The first one we're going to go over here, hailing out of USC, standing 6'2", weighing 193 pounds. We got Kalen Bullock. I almost said fucking Karen. But anyway, for Kalen, he's a prototype close and recovery safety because he had 9 career interceptions, is a corner and wide receiver background, can run routes for receivers and finish the job. Turns to strength, he turns 21 draft weekend. Still developing physically. Added significant muscle signing as a corner wide receiver from Pasadena. Made 33 college career starts and never seemed like he didn't belong, even as an 18-year-old true freshman. Blazes downhill to close from the deep third. Natural hands catcher, wide receiver background, evident in multiple facts of his game. Willing and eager to support against the run, quick enough to evade traffic in pursuit. High for players, stays in the play through the whistle, uses leverage and arm length to reroute receivers, competitive at the catch point. Terms his weaknesses, though, lacks NFL strength, still on the light side for his frame, looks it against bigger blockers, pesky receivers, capable of moving them off path in the run game. Not a stick and rat form tackler, crumbles off all too many trying to deliver the big hits. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Jesse Bates of the Atlanta Falcons. Overall, A lot to like out of Kalen's game. Someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Georgia, sitting 5'10", weighing 197 pounds. We got Javon Bullard. So for Javon's strengths, natural attack mode, run defender, fits quickly, doesn't dance around blocks, instinctive enough, can read routes early in progression, fluid initial movement in all directions, can blow up screens, outside runs without hesitation, near potential impact with earth-moving blockers, wins in coverage when he can get his hands on a receiver at the line. Quick hands, can jolt and free himself when engaged in the run game. In terms of weaknesses, though, he's a corner build, worked on natural tracking and mirroring receivers, tight ends out of breaks at times during the Senior Bowl. Wait to react to first move and man coverage. Short arm, wingspan relative to prototype are problematic traits against big receivers and tight ends. Not as comfortable with his back to the line of scrimmage. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Von Bell of the Carolina Panthers. Overall, a lot to like in Javon's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Utah, sitting 6'2", weighing 209 pounds. We got Cole Bishop. So for Cole's strength, strides easily, close distance, rapidly coming down the alley. Has enough range to hold his own on the back end. Instinctive player, sees the field well, rarely deceived by shifts and misdirections. Takes good angles in the run game, won't undercut targets. Processes speed, overall feel for the game, stood out in the matchup against Oregon if you all watch some tape there. Showed some man coverage potential against Washington with calm and control technique. In terms of weaknesses, though, short arm creates issues finishing tackles, being a reliable player when left on an island. Challenge, getting hands to the catch, but will come out short against big body receivers when the ball's in the air. Good athlete, not a great one. May get picked on more regularly downfield by NFL deep threats. Lacks sufficient recovery speed after making a mistake downfield. Not the physical player his size might imply. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to now retired safety KJ Dillon. Overall, a lot to like out of Cole's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Maryland, standing 6 feet tall, weighing 208 pounds. We got Bo Braid. So for Bo, he's your prototype intangible safety because he has pedestrian size and speed, which is glaring, but his anticipation, instincts, and preparation will get him a job in the NFL. In terms of his strength, all-energy team kind of safety. Versatility, top communication skills, can avoid lapses from teammates. Uncanny instincts, anticipation skills. Diagnosing plays based on formation or preparation without giving away coverage. Impressive wingspan, strong, massive hands in the position. Uses to separate from blockers. Appears to close the receivers when defeated. Fearless moving the ball, even if he doesn't always finish the play as expected. Majority of his snaps in 2022 were in the deep middle. But he also lined up regularly in the slot and even on defensive fronts. His father, Ron, played football at Virginia Tech. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he played more than half of his snaps in 2023 in the box, putting him in position for a high tackle tally. Not a sure thing tackling in an open field, not polished tracking the ball over his head or effective with his back on the ball. Missed tackles are a major concern. He had more than 30 missed tackles the past 2 seasons. Great anticipation skills, also a risk taker that might irritate a coordinator focused on disciplined reps on the back end. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to Andre Cisco of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Overall, well, I don't like out of Bo's game. Takes still a lot of chances, though. But if he can keep the missed plays down to a minimum, I think someone to keep an eye on. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Miami, standing 6'4", weight 230 pounds. We got James Williams. So for James' strength, outlandishly big safety, special combination size and length will be an easy projection to linebacker if teams would rather have him play closer to the line of scrimmage. Huge catch radius, can reach and knock down passes that few other defenders can reach. Big hitter with the strength tenacity to finish when he lands. In terms of his weaknesses, though, typical speed for his size is a major limitation working in deep coverage as a safety. Long legs, tight hips are issues transitioning from back pedal. Man coverage duties will be limited to covering tight ends and less athletic backs. Average hand usage required upgrade if he moves to linebacker. Too often content to sit on blocks rather than fight with his hands. Runs tall, easily thrown off balance, working in space. Developmental qualities are there, but he'll need years of seasoning to reach his potential. In terms of his NFL comparison, he's been compared to free agent safety Hamza Nasruddin. Overall, though, a lot to like out of his game's great size, too. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Utah, standing 5'11", weighing 211 pounds. We got Sion Feki. So for Sion's strength, short area quickness, which allows him to recalibrate angles, adjust on the fly as a tackler and coverage defender. Unmatched versatility, running back, safety, linebacker, capable returning kickoff, so has special teams versatility too. Instinctive runner, impressive vision, should draw draftable grapes as a running back from some teams. Special teams potentially translates easily. In terms of his weaknesses, though, he's most more of a close quarters standout athlete rather than a type that can run stride for stride with vertical threats. Instincts need tuning due to mental mistakes in coverage. He takes poor angles to the ball, will run himself out of plays on a regular basis. Had trouble keeping up with the speed of Oregon's offense. If you want to watch some tape there. More of a hit, ricochet tackler than the type to wrap up cleanly. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's better compared to Godwin in Wignabeek of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That last name was a bit of a tongue twister. But anyway, in terms of Sion's, offensive versatility, what to like out of him. Maybe someone that could potentially go to special teams, possibly. So the next player we're going to take a look at here, hailing out of Wake Forest, standing 5'10", weighing 205 pounds. We got Malik Mustapha. So for Malik, he's your prototype in run support, safety, because he's one of the biggest hitters in this class. More power than his size may suggest. In terms of strength, bonkers range, moving across the field smoothly, at top speed almost instantly. Able to quickly diagnose where he needs to end up, makes big tackles, suppresses the big play. Perfect safety valve, reliable tackler that goes with long stretches while whiffing. Super physical, very willing to make hard contact and force some big drops by getting involved during the catch. Just so fast, long strides can carry into his coverage skills. Allows for QBs to know they can't test him. In terms of his weakness, though, he's a coverage threat due to his speed, but actual technique is middling. Doesn't have a great back pedal, has a tenacity to get over aggressive, going for interceptions and deflections when he doesn't have the ball skills for it. Height could scare away some teams, going to have a difficult time operating outside the box, could make developing strides in coverage. Could have a limited role in the league for being one-dimensional. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Jonathan Abram of the New Orleans Saints. Overall, we'll have to wake out of Malik's game. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Albert, standing 6'1", weighing 186 pounds. We got Jalen Simpson. So for Jalen's strengths, good all-around athlete, cover cornerback potential, instinctive enough in coverage to play effective in man or zone. Good burst to close on horizontal quick hitters in front of him. Range stands out with sideline-to-sideline ability. Can cut off outside outlet throws and tosses. Nose for the ball with good hands. Tracks the ball over his head. Can go get it at the high point. In terms of his weaknesses, though, too wide in the pegs to fill the box and run support. Thin frame spells doom when teams run at him. Not physical, capable of ditching big receivers or tight ends on the edge. Durability and slim build combined with timid run support. It could be a lethal combo. In terms of his NFL comparisons, but compared to Najee Johnson of the Kansas City Chiefs, overall, a lot to like out of Jalen's game. Someone to keep an eye on here for sure. So the next player we're going to take a look at here, hailing out of Oregon State, standing 6'2", weighing 219 pounds. We got Keaton Oladapo. So for Keaton's strengths, impressive strength, enough there to believe he can function at linebacker, if not safety. Comfortable working in single high looks, has experience at different levels of the field, takes efficient angles to the ball, won't misstep them when coming downfield. He'll physical tackler, has sufficient stopping power, can win by himself. His size allows him to compete in long routes with tight ends, consistent positioning from snap to snap. Also been listed as one of the top sleeper picks of this draft class because he's a former walk-on that turned himself into a 3-year starter and 3-time All Pac-12 pick with the frame and game to be an in-the-box safety. In terms of his weaknesses, though, his movement skills don't pop when he starts toward the ball. Lack of long speed, short area explosiveness will be a serious impediment in coverage. Gears down, gets tangled trying to get off his back foot. Gets shaken off in man coverage quite easily. Will likely be forced to convert the linebacker if he tests poorly. No chance of playing corner in a pinch. Not agile enough to recover once he's beaten. In terms of his NFL comparisons, he's been compared to DeMarco Hellams of the Atlanta Falcons. Overall, lot to like out of Keaton's game and a leader of men. I think someone to keep an eye on here for sure. So the next player we're going to go over here, hailing out of Ole Miss, standing 5'11", weighing 191 pounds. We got Deshaun Anthony. So for Deshaun's strengths, self-made pro prospect, 0-star recruit without a single scholarship offer coming out of high school in Virginia. Walked on at Liberty before entering the scholarship after playing at the Division II school. Showed up on the big stage for Ole Miss, standing out with secure tackling, nose for the ball against Mississippi State with a career-high 15 tackles, and LSU, if you want to watch some tape there, which forced Jaden Daniels to fumble. Allowed only 1 touchdown in coverage in 2023, constantly communicating, makes adjustment, embraces ideas of being a QB on defense. In terms of his weaknesses, though, undersized for a safety position, lacks range for true center field role and zone coverage. Lacks a concern taking up blocks, making secure open field tackles against elite athletes. He graded better than 90% tackling in 2023. Not a perfect fit at nickel, but has the hands and desire to disrupt receivers. patterns. In terms of NFL comparisons, he's been compared to Jarek Reed of the Seattle Seahawks. Overall, a lot to like out of Deshaun's game. Was very productive, did a lot of things right. I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. And the final safety, the final player in the secondary, the final player we're going to talk about in this video, we have Evan, hailing out of Oregon State, 5'11", weighing 202 pounds. We got Evan Williams. So for Evan's strengths, very good athlete, experience in ball production, made plays all week in Mobile at the Senior Bowl, stood out blanketing tight ends, working in tight quarters as a safety or nickel. Made average tight end class, look overmatched, consistently in drills, top instincts to read keys and diagnose pre-snap, high energy, high effort ball hawk. In terms of weaknesses, though, short, undersized, overall relying on short area bursts and competitiveness. Mismatch against most NFL receivers. Long speed's a concern. Best playing the ball in front of him with a runaway to close. Lacks the required measurables for that role. Misses too many tackles in the open field, overmatched in jump ball situations. He's been listed as a player that could disappoint in the NFL because his athletic ability is there. His short arms, modest height, it puts him behind the 8-ball. In terms of NFL comparison, he's been compared to Sidney Brown of the Philadelphia Eagles. Overall, a lot to like out of his game, and I think under the right scheme and circumstances and the right matchups, I think someone to keep an eye on for sure. So yeah, anyway, that'll wrap it up for this Detroit Lions 2024 NFL Draft Preview. So yeah, that wraps it up for actually all the defensive draft previews for this year. So yeah, quite a few interesting prospects in the secondary to keep an eye on, and defensive backs and safeties. You know, could definitely use another corner, especially with the Cam Sunday, like we mentioned already countless times before. But yeah, you know, get some depth there. But yes, and because the secondary is one of the big weaknesses on the defense last year. So yeah, it could definitely use an overhaul. But yeah, still, you know, could never hurt to have an extra corner or safety or two, or anyone that can play secondary and have some versatility. And maybe could offer some special teams versatility too with the new NFL kickoff rules as well. But yeah, we're almost done with all the draft previews. We got one more draft preview we're going to do. And it's going to be a pretty short one compared to the other ones, as this one's going to be on a special teams area. And for this special teams area, it's an area that needs to be addressed, because this area we're going to go over in the next draft preview on special teams. It's an area that mainly is the main reason why Dan Campbell always went for it on 4th down. And is the main reason why Dan Campbell chose to go for it instead of take a field goal in the NFC Championship game in the 4th quarter. If you know what position I'm talking about, I'll just leave it at that, and you can tune in next time to find out. But yeah, anyway, that will be next time. But anyway, that'll wrap it up here. That's all I gotta say. Hope everyone has a great day, and I'll see you all whatever I make next. I'm out.